NTIA announces $790 million in tribal broadband funding. Fox acquires Roku for $22 billion. SpaceX with a huge AI acquisition. And AWS-3 Spectrum auction now surpassing $3.4 billion in bids. Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband Universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. A pair of broadband funding opportunities announced this week by NTIA. $790 million will be made available through the Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program, along with the Native Entities Grant Program. The application window now open and runs through September the 17th. Awards expected to be made on a rolling basis beginning in the spring of 2027. Thanks to a successful launch of the Ariane 6 rocket from Europe's spaceport in Kourou, French Guiana, Amazon LEO has increased its total number of satellites deployed in low Earth orbit to 367. Another 29 are slated to be launched July the 3rd by the United Launch Alliance. And you'll recall that Amazon received a waiver from the FCC earlier this month on its July 30th interim milestone, which had called for deploying more than 1,600 of its first-generation LEO satellites. A landmark streaming platform acquisition this week as Fox Corporation announces a $22 billion distribution agreement with Roku. The combined company will pair live entertainment along with NFL, Major League Baseball, and news content from Fox with Roku's more than 100 million streaming households, including more than half of all U.S. broadband subscribers. The deal is being made at $160 per share and is expected to close during the first half of 2027. SpaceX, fresh off its record-setting initial public offering last week, wasted little time in spending a sizable chunk of its $2 trillion valuation with a $60 billion acquisition of Cursor, a Silicon Valley AI startup. The deal will provide xAI a stronger hold in AI coding. Cursor has been a rival to market leaders Anthropic and OpenAI in using artificial intelligence to automate coding. The all-stock deal is expected to close during the third quarter of this year. Claiming massive copyright infringement, CNN is taking legal action against Perplexity. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York alleges that the AI company scraped more than 17,000 CNN stories, photos, and videos, then used the content to train its products. This is thought to be the first such litigation by a television network. CNN held talks with Perplexity last year, but negotiations fell through and the network blocked the company's scraping bot from accessing content. The lawsuit also alleges that Perplexity falsely advertised a continued relationship with CNN, claiming that users could access CNN's premium content. CNN is asking the court to award statutory damages and to discontinue Perplexity from using its contents. Elsewhere, how much water did it take to operate all of Amazon's data centers last year? 2.5 billion gallons. Amazon says that's actually a 2% decrease from 2024, despite expanding its data center footprint. That 2.5 billion gallons of water works out to 0.12 liters of water per kilowatt hour of electricity. That's slightly more efficient than the industry average. A challenge to the FCC's mobile satellite service ban decision in April, denying operator Satelio's application to access the 2 gigahertz MSS band for a 10-satellite constellation in the U.S. market. The FCC has consistently ruled that only one operator can use the 2 gigahertz band, and since 2013 they have denied other applications by Inmarsat, SpaceX, and AST SpaceMobile. By midweek, the FCC's AWS-3 Spectrum auction had surpassed $3.4 billion in bids. The auction halted on Friday in observance of the Juneteenth holiday, but is slated to resume on Monday with 8 rounds each day this week. According to some estimates, the Universal Service Fund contribution factor is likely to reach 42.3% during the third quarter. Now, that would be a new record. If it's the case, it would mark the first time the USF contribution factor exceeds 40%. Currently, the Q2 factor, 37%. Of course, the Universal Service Fund provides support for low-income customers, rural health care providers, and qualifying telephone companies serving high-cost areas. And notably, USF also supports school and library connectivity via the E-rate program. Other industry business news: ST Microelectronics, a European chip maker and supplier to SpaceX, is planning to raise $1.5 billion through a bond sale. That announcement coming on the heels of NVIDIA's plans to issue $25 billion in new bonds, the first bond sale for that company in 5 years. Also, French telecom operator SFR, part of the Altice France, will be acquired by the consortium of Bouygues Telecom, Orange, and Free Iliad Group. That's a deal valued at $23.5 billion. DirecTV subscribers have a price hike on tap effective June 25th. Both satellite customers and streaming service subscribers will see increases of up to $8 a month. Even more for the DirecTV My Sports package. That's moving from $64.99 per month to $74.99 per month. Industry analysts suggest that price adjustments offset investments in technology upgrades, 4K streaming support, along with enhanced DVR cloud storage. FIFA World Cup matches have delivered excitement and record ratings. U.S. versus Paraguay became the most watched telecast of a World Cup match in history. Just shy of 16 million viewers watched the U.S. men dispatch Paraguay 4-1, more than double the previous record of 7.7 million, who saw the U.S. men versus Wales on November 21st back in 2022. Peak viewing of the U.S. versus Paraguay topped out at 18.8 million just before 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And finally, in what arguably is one of the most drastic corporate pivots of all time, Allbirds will now be known as SmartBird, and the company will switch from selling shoes to buying high-end servers equipped with AI chips and then renting out access. From shoes to high-end AI chip-equipped servers. Now, that is a pivot. Perhaps most importantly, though, a legion of faithful Allbirds shoe customers, now most disappointed, my wife included. She is lamenting no longer being able to find a particular style of flats, and like she says, when it comes to shoes for women, if you know, you know. Good luck, SmartBird, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.